Johnny Manziel.
Is that some South Carolina hate going on over there?
Okay, let's hear from our race winner, tonight's 33rd annual Virginia 529 College Savings 250 NASCAR Nationwide Series race. And our race winner, Brad Keselowski. He drove the number 22 Hertz Ford for Penske Racing. He's joined by his crew chief, Jeremy Mullins. And this is Brad's 5th win in 2014 and his 3rd win here at Richmond and his 25th win in his career in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. That's a nice milestone, which is 8th all-time. Brad, congratulations. Jeremy, congratulations on the victory. Just talk about the end, and certainly a lot of comment and talk there about those last few laps, last few starts, and just talk about how you were positioned yourself in here to get to victory lane.
Well, I'd give Jeremy more credit than me. He positioned us to where we had a really fast car for the last few runs of the race, and then it's just about executing from there, whether it's the restarts or making passes. I think we restarted 7th with 60 or 70 to go and got up to 2nd or 3rd there, and then had a couple other restarts from 3rd to 2nd, and then another restart from 2nd to 1st, and it all came together for us. So, the big thing was, like I said, having the car to do that the last few runs.
Jeremy, talk about how this race team, got it done here tonight and came away with the win.
Really, it was just we worked all night and we had to keep working. We weren't that good at the beginning of the race. We felt like we learned a lot in the spring race here about what our car needed to do at the end of the race. And as we kept making pit stops, we made big adjustments every stop, and finally got it to the point where the last stop we felt like we were where we needed to be. And guys just worked hard all night and had a good car at the end.
All right, we'll take questions now for Brad or Jeremy. If you have one, raise your hand and we'll get to you. Questions, Jeremy or Brad. Let's go right here. Kim, and then we'll go to Stan. Holly may have one. We'll see. Go ahead.
Kim Robertson, InsiderRacingNews.com. This is a pretty monumental win. This is the 1000th race. What does that mean to you, actually being able to win this race?
Wow, it's something. That's a question, and I say this more often than I probably should, but that's a question that I think you answer when you have the benefit of hindsight. I'm kind of too close to it right now to understand it. Obviously, a 1000th race for this series is a big deal. And to be a winner, I feel lucky, and I look back at my first days in the sport. I felt like I would be lucky just to, be around for a while and be able to make a living out of this. And then over time, your goals and aspirations get a little bigger. I mean, I always wanted to be a champion, don't get me wrong, but you start to have a little bit of success, and you think, well, I'd love to win a race. And then when you win a race, you think, well, I'd love to win a championship. And you kind of build from there. But one of the things along the way is you never, at least I haven't, you never lose sight of how fortunate you are just to win a race, whether it's 1000th or the 932nd. It's still an honor to win a race. These are great drivers, and I know it's not the Cup level, but there's still great drivers out there who deserve the respect that they're given. And have earned their position at this level, and to beat them is an honor. When you combine that with a stat like a 1000th race, I think that it's almost too much for me to absorb at the moment to really understand what it is and what it means.
Let's go to Stan, and then we'll go to Bob, and now Holly's got one going, so we'll go Stan, Bob, Holly.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Brad, did you wait until the final 10 laps to show everything you had in that race car?
Sure, we'll go with that. Right, Jeremy?
I mean, because
Jeremy.
That was the plan the whole time.
I mean, to some, that's what it looked like, or was it truly a struggle to get there?
I mean, we if I could have gotten the lead and led every damn lap, I would have done it, Stan. But we had to do a little work, and we had a blue-collar day. and we were able to persevere through it with good stops or good adjustments on the stops. We did struggle a little bit on pit road, but the adjustments that Jeremy made and the preparation that we had with the car allowed us to find what we needed throughout the night to be strong when it counts at the end.
And did you learn anything about the track tonight that you think would be an advantage for you tomorrow night?
Maybe.
I got you.
Let's go to Bob, and then we'll go to Holly.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Can you talk about the last two restarts? Because Brian, on the next to last restart, thought you beat him to the line. I'm not sure whether you actually gave it back to him before you ended up passing him. And then on the final restart, he thought you had jumped it a little bit before the zone. And I'm curious more, how do we tell when exactly a guy is starting or not? I mean, is it, it's
Well,
kind of very much a
restarts are
judgment.
an exact science. Maybe that's right, maybe that's not right. And there are lines on the wall, but they are an exact science with a lot of variables, which makes it very difficult to police. And I sympathize for NASCAR on trying to do just that. It's almost our racing's version of pass interference is judging a restart. What you might call pass interference, another person might not, and what one person might call jumping a restart, another person might not. Obviously, I don't feel like I did, but I can tell you that there's a lot of different techniques you can use in the restart zone. Everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, and we were able to capitalize on those tonight.
Did you give it back? Did you think that you had beaten to the line on that?
I couldn't tell. I knew it was really close, and I know, based off of what NASCAR has said before, that when it comes to restarts, if it's more than a fender, you're in trouble. I knew I wasn't more than a fender in front of him. I knew I was really close, and if I'd beaten him by, an inch or two or whatever that might be. But I knew I hadn't beaten him by a foot or two, and kind of going by, what NASCAR's set as a precedent by that, I felt like I'd be okay. So I think that's still the precedent and where it's at in the sport, and if that's the case, then that's, definitely what the rule is.
Let's go to Holly, and then Hank will get you in a second. We got one upstairs that's in the queue, but go Holly upstairs, Hank.
Brad, I realize that today isn't tomorrow, but certainly this is a
Sorry, that was really profound.
be nice.
Go ahead.
All right.
You're just lucky I'm not Tony.
You're right. Anyway, so this is still a very good way to start off the weekend. If you could kind of just talk about the positive energy, if you're feeling any of that. And we really didn't get a chance to talk to you after qualifying. I wondered if you could also, for Cup, if you could also speak to the fact that, several of you guys that really need to bring it brought it today anyway to start the race.
Sure. Well, first I'll address the thing about not getting to talk to me after qualifying. I apologize for that for the media that were there, but we had to run right away to go do the NASCAR drug test, so we didn't have any time for that. But your question was momentum for tomorrow. So much about this sport is confidence, good and bad. Winning races always builds your confidence. And I wouldn't say I have a shortage of confidence this year. I believe in myself, and I believe in the people I'm around. I believe there's been some circumstances that we could have dealt with better than what we have. That said, there's been a couple times this year when I lie in bed at night after a race. I think to myself, I actually ran a better race this year than I did last year and got a worse result. And that can be frustrating at times. But I know that if we keep doing what we're doing, keep doing the right things, keep working hard, and not just hard but smart as well, that the results will come. And that's confidence. That's the confidence you get from winning here today, because I know we did the right things, and at the end we were rewarded. And I believe the same will hold true with the Cup team. I'd like that to be this weekend, certainly. But if it's not, I will still have that confidence that we can do it.
You just talked about today in qualifying. You stepped up. You guys
Reed Spitzer with the NASCAR Wire Service, getting an echo here. Brad, the issues with the restarts notwithstanding, can you sympathize with a guy like Brian?
We'll come back to you, Howard. Reed's ready to go.
Yeah, hello.
Reed said, I got places to be, beer to drink.
All right.
Can I sympathize with Brian? I hope you can still hear me, Reed. Yeah, absolutely. He ran a great race, one of his best races ever, and probably his best race ever, and he's got a lot to be proud of. That's for sure. This was this was one of those nights where it just didn't work out for him, and the only thing I can really tell him with the experience that I have is that sometimes in racing you do everything right and you still don't win. The sport's very fickle like that because the three things I talk about all the time: speed, execution, and luck. You can only control two of them. And things just didn't fall his way. That yellow that came out with, I almost say it was 25, 30 to go, roughly in that range, just put him in a position that didn't suit his team's strengths, and it did suit ours, and we were close enough to capitalize. But yes, Reed, I can sympathize for him, and he's got a lot to be proud of, even though he didn't win today. I think he made a statement this weekend. We're sitting on the pole, leading the most laps, and almost winning at the end. So I think with time, that's what he'll take from this weekend, and he should be proud of it.
Let's come back downstairs. Holly?
Your question, Holly?
It was just if you could talk about how several of you that really needed to step it up for this race did today.
You're talking about qualifying for the Cup car? Yeah, our team has worked incredibly hard for Richmond. This has not been our strongest track, and I'd be the first to admit it. We put in a 2-day test session, put in weeks of different things that we do back at the shop to be more prepared for this. And we unloaded and quite frankly still weren't where we needed to be a winner, in my opinion. But with an hour or 2 hours of practice that we had this morning and through the afternoon, we hit what we need for me to feel like we can win the race tomorrow. And quite honestly, I felt like at the very end of practice we were the best car. So I'm very optimistic for tomorrow.
Go ahead, Hank. Far right.
Hey, Brad, with what you said about the inexact science of restarts and stuff, you seem like a pretty cerebral guy. If NASCAR had penalized you, would you have been furious, or would you have...
I would have liked to have seen why. That would have been what I would have said.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to penalize someone, you have to have a reason why. I would have asked why. That's what I would have said. If the answer to why is because another driver said so, that's not a very good answer. I'm just going to go back through the history of time and pick every race who was the winner when I finished second and say, well, he jumped a restart, and then I'll win every race. If that's how you police a restart.
I think what's frustrating here is we're not in the car. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't have...
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to see. I don't know how to exactly answer that. Like I said, it's the modern day NASCAR version of pass interference. I felt like we were obviously right on the edge of it, but also legal.
Lee?
Bradley, since you weren't in here earlier, have to ask you if there's been any discussion about tomorrow night in team orders, since Joey's
orders?
kind of, close to being locked in, and you're on the fringe.
No. If there has, it hasn't involved me. So that's probably the only thing I can really tell you.